So I just finished reading a manga called Sosei no Taiga or Taiga of Genesis, and it's probably the ultimate survival manga. It's made by the same author who wrote Holy Land, so it has similar art. The story itself is pretty straightforward but also unique as it's technically an isekai, so it follows the story of Taiga and his college friends who find a cave and end up getting transported to another world. More accurately, it seems to be to the past, but I think it's a world just similar to the Stone Age. But anyways, they're sent tens of thousands of years into the past and are forced to survive. It's an interesting premise since basically every other isekai or similar story, the world is more Middle Ages, fantasy, and filled with magic. And since it doesn't have any of that, it gives the story more realism. But I don't think I've seen a story where the characters are in the Stone Age, except for maybe like Dr. Stone, but that's technically the future. Moving on though, Taiga and his friends are forced to survive, so they do what any sensible person would do and just try and stay alive. They find shelter, try and hunt for food, and figure out what to do next. They take things day by day, but the best part about this manga is the main character Taiga. Now, he's the first to adapt to their situation, as before they got transported, he felt like he wasn't doing anything and he had no purpose. But since coming to this new world, all he needed to do was focus on surviving, but that leads him down a crazy path. But after about a month passed, they see various animals that are extinct, like the woolly mammoth, and the reason I think it's another world similar to ours is because a lot of them that lived in different time periods all exist in this one at the same time. That's just kind of like my own personal theory though. But then they encounter other humans, but more importantly, they see Neanderthals, and it's the struggle and fighting between humans and Neanderthals that happened around this time frame. You get that uncanny valley vibe from it as immediately you know who the enemies are, and so does Taiga. But their group ends up getting attacked and Taiga is separated from his friends. After this though, he meets the baddie of the series, Tiari, and they both teach each other various things, like Taiga more about hunting and trying to survive, and for Tiari she learns more modern means of living. They start to learn each other's language and grow a bond. Taiga finds his friends as they are captured by Tiari's village, and Taiga fights her brother, the goat of the series Nakamu, and he beats him, gaining his friends' freedom and the respect of Nakamu and their village. The rest of the manga is them learning more about survival and this world as a whole while adapting to it, building up the village they now live in and fighting the Neanderthals, who become the primary antagonists. But like I said earlier, Taiga's character arc is what makes it so good. He adapts to the world at an insane rate, becomes pretty much the strongest and best fighter in the verse. And after he's forced to kill his first person or Neanderthal, he's horrified at first, but quickly gets used to it and realizes they have no other choice. His friend Riku becomes a blacksmith and creates iron weapons, and Taiga gets 2 swords, his mainstay. He gets even stronger with these and ends up killing dozens of Neanderthals. They begin to fear him and give him the cold-ass nickname of the Devil of the Night. And not only that, bro tamed and trained a wolf he found as a cub, but also tamed a fucking woolly mammoth that he rides into battle like a tank. However, it's best said by Nakamu that Taiga has 2 sides to him. One that's like a caring father who just wants to protect the people he loves and cares about, and the other is like a warrior with an insatiable bloodlust that'll kill anyone who becomes a threat to him, his friends, or his family. His friends like Arta, who also becomes a warrior, and Riku, who again is the blacksmith, adapt later but in time. His friend Ren, though, is a whiny bitch at first and is annoying as hell, basically saying they shouldn't interfere because it might change human history, but much later in the story he's actually useful. Their female friends, though, are pretty fucking useless. I mean, one's good with animals, one's just a love interest for Arta, but the one that gets the most screen, or page time I guess, was essayed by a Neanderthal and is forced to deal with that. Moving on though, it's cool to see all the different animals they hunt and tactics and weapons they use to do so, and also just seeing how they grow and live in this ancient world. But the biggest thing that threw me for a curveball was that, now, massive spoilers, I guess, but for whatever reason, the leaders of the Neanderthals are also people who were sent back in time, and also their descendants. And for whatever reason, they're fucking Nazis. Now, of course, there are some downsides, like some of the characters you could give less than 2 shits about. The war arc, if you want to call it that, with the Neanderthals does feel like it gets dragged on at points, and some things kind of feel tedious and doesn't really make sense. But also the mangaka seems to kind of put this story on hiatus at random points for months at a time, like the story isn't even finished yet. So even if you do catch up, you're just going to be waiting for new chapters, and by the time they get released, you'll probably have lost interest in the story. But I don't think that should stop you from reading the manga as a whole. Overall though, it's a fun read and the story is good, but it just feels like it's a breath of fresh air when compared to a lot of other manga and stories. But if you just like the general sound of the premise, then you should definitely check it out. But if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.